So what do you call yourself? Welcome to the LaTangela Show. Hey.
Hey, what can I do for you this fine day?
This is your destiny. Hot, hot, hot. Right now.
Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
Kick it.
Come on in and enjoy yourself.
Right now.
We gon' party like no one else. Welcome to the LaTangela Show.
And I'm back like I never left, right?
Indeed.
I think that we should be able to sign off on a petition. Like there should be a day stemming from Sunday to Monday that kind of glides or like a sliding scale or something.
Sure.
Because the way Monday just dropped in our lap, I don't think it's fair.
I know. And my weekend just like evaporated.
Blink, it's over.
Yep. I know. I'm
But
with
the
you.
best part of the day is that I get to kick it off with you.
Hey, same here, sister. Same here.
How are you?
I am well. I'm well. How about you?
I'm holding on.
All we can do on a
adding to the
Monday.
world of entertainment, though, and that's why I need you. I need you in the hot seat and on the tan line because my binge list is running low. And I know that as the senior communications director for Crackle, Redbox, and then you have Chicken Soup for the Soul, you never run out. So, of course, you have some goodies for me.
I am going to fill your tank. That's all I
Let's
can
do
say.
it.
All right. Awesome. Well, for Crackle this week, I want to recommend, let's get the energy up. Let's get our week cranking. And so we've got some great action flicks for you. So, okay, great. We've got one that's really fun. This is Assault on Precinct 13. And this is a 2005 remake of the 1976 classic. And it's really fun. It's starring Ethan Hawke from Training Day, Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix, and Gabriel Byrne. This was like kind of an indie cop thriller back in the 70s, almost like an exploitation film, over the top violence. And the 2005 remake does it justice. It's really fun, and it's not what you'd think it is. So Ethan Hawke shows up at this precinct that's in its last days. It's going to get shut down. It's in this super seedy neighborhood. And he's kind of there to just sort of nurse this thing to the graveyard.
Right.
And but he shows up, and it ends up that Lawrence Fishburne is this sort of mob boss guy who makes an appearance. And come to find out, Gabriel Byrne is the head of this group of corrupt police officers who Lawrence Fishburne is going to testify against. And so they show up on this last weekend to kill Lawrence Fishburne. And so Ethan Hawke, with this sort of skeleton crew of police officers, has to protect this arch criminal against these criminal police officers. It's really fun.
Just think about it. You have such an amazing lineup of heavy hitters in that one by itself, right? And we understand that they come in, they take these roles and they take them next level. So by it being a remake, we kind of know what we want to expect. But when you say there's a twist and then they're all going to bring their own flair to it, which one is that?
Assault on Precinct 13.
I'm all in.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan Hawke, Lawrence Fishburne, and Gabriel Byrne, like three of my favorite actors of all time. I would watch those guys grocery shop, let alone do something like this. So it's awesome. You definitely want to check that out. Another fun one, and it's part of our relationship with the BBC, is The Great Train Robbery. And this is also a remake. There was an earlier film version of The Great Train Robbery, and this is all based on the true story. This was a 1963 train robbery in England where they stole $38 million.
What?
And yep. And that in today's money, it's like astronomical amount of money that was stolen. So it was the Royal Mail train headed for Glasgow, or from Glasgow to London. It was robbed in the middle of it, and it's a very, very famous caper film. Well, the remake is really interesting because it's a 2-episode limited series. The first episode they take the robbery from the point of view of the criminals, and you go through the entire robbery process from planning all the way to execution. And then in the second episode, and they're both like full films, the second episode, you go from the police all the way from finding out about the crime through the investigation, the arrest, the trial, etc. It's really fun.
You know, Chris, I've never been on a train ride, and I keep saying, I want to get on a train ride. I want to get on a train ride. But could you imagine being on a train and a train robbery breaks out? Like, wait, whoa, what? Time out, pause.
I know.
I gotta watch this.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. And in like crime history annals, the Great Train Robbery is considered one of the like greatest capers in crime history. So it's super interesting.
And this is 2 parts.
Yes.
So we got to watch them both. Crackle,
Absolutely.
I'm all in. So far,
Yep,
we're rolling hit for hit. What else you got?
Okay, so this month is Military Appreciation Month. And so as our tiny token of the way that we show our appreciation to the men and women who protect and serve this country, we have a bunch of great titles. And again, this relationship with the BBC. So we have not only domestic military shows, but we also have some great BBC titles as well. And we have one called Bluestone 4-2. And this is really fun. It's kind of in the tradition of MASH. So it's a comedy, it's a sitcom about a bomb disposal unit in Afghanistan. So obviously there's serious elements to it, but it's written to kind of look at the comedic things that can go on in the average life of the day of life of a military soldier. It's really well written. BBC, as always, knocked it out of the park. But if you like MASH and you like sort of those collisions of the comedic with the dramatic, Bluestone 4-2 does not disappoint. It's starring Stephen White, who's in Men in Black International, and Tony Gardner from Last Tango in Halifax. It's spectacular. The performances are great. The writing is top notch. It's everything you expect in a BBC show.
You know, Chris, one of the things that I really love about the partnership that you all offer between BBC and your platforms is that it gives us such a large variety, and they do great programming. And for you to implement that, that gives us another twist, because we typically wouldn't look for it. But being that you are on a platform that we trust and that we're already accustomed to, adding that extra spice, it gives us something that's really nice. So thank you for that.
You bet. And the great thing about this relationship is a lot of these titles, Crackle's the only place you can watch them for free. So some are available. Exactly. There are paid services where you can watch it, but why buy the cow if the milk's free, right?
Something about the word free motivates me.
You and me both. Absolutely.
What you got for me over there on Redbox? On
Redbox, we have a ton of great stuff. So some of my favorites, we've got some kind of for Mother's Day, we had some a lot of feel-good titles, and I don't know if I threw those out at you yet, but I just want to highlight some of these. We've got a really fun one called Life's a Breeze. And
is it? Do tell me more.
This is another UK title. And I don't know, I love UK comedies. There's just something about the UK sense of humor, whether it's British or Irish. I love Waking Ned Divine. I love British Office, all of that. And this is a really cute film. It's about a family who loses the matriarch. This grandmother dies in Dublin, ends up, she was a hoarder of sorts. And so the family comes together and they've got to clean all this junk out of grandma's flat. And so they take everything she had and they basically give it to the junk dealer, who takes it away. And then someone comes in and says, where's grandma's bed? And they said, well, we gave everything to the junk dealer. And they said, oh, that's where grandma kept her money. So it ends up grandma had a fortune stuffed into the mattress, as many Depression era folk did. And so they now have to find this mattress. So this
scavenger hunt for a mattress full of money.
Exactly. So you talk about motivated. They are highly motivated.
I bet.
but it's a really cute story. The cast is great. Kelly Thornton from Sing Street, which I just watched recently, which is an adorable film. Fionnuala Flanagan, who's in Waking Ned Divine, which we just mentioned, one of my faves, and Pat Short, who plays the bartender in the Oscar winner Banshees of Inisherin. He's the lead in this, and he's great in Banshees. If you haven't seen that, it's an odd film for sure, but it's a great one. But Life's a Breeze, super cute. You're gonna love it.
Adding that one to my to-do list. And of course, now everybody else need to keep on top of mind. Do not throw the mattress away until you check it first.
Check everything Granny had stashed away. You don't want to miss that.
You don't. Redbox, keep them rolling for me.
We've got another really sweet one called Pond Life, and this is another UK title. And this is, it's in kind of the vein of Stand By Me. It's one of those really sweet coming of age stories. And this one's starring Tom Verney from who plays Clay Sirwin from Game of Thrones, if you watch that series. Esma Creed Miles from the series Hannah, and Angus Imrie, who plays Prince Edward on The Crown. Okay. And this was from a little earlier in their careers. And like I said, it's a coming of age story. It's about all these teenage kids who have all these sort of difficulties in their home lives. And in order to escape all the drama that they're dealing with, they decide as a group that they're going to go on the hunt for this mythical giant carp that lives in a river outside of their hometown. And so it's about all these kids coming together, and they go on this sort of epic journey to go and try and fish for this giant carp to make it.
It turns out to be a magical journey for them.
It does.
Therapeutic, nevertheless.
It's really sweet. I highly recommend it. Pond Life. It's really great.
Life's a pond.
That's it. And then continuing with our sort of character-driven feel-good films, we've got one with one of my absolute favorite actors, Paul Rudd, who is in theaters right now with Ant-Man and the Wasp. Also has Ken Marino from Reno 911, who played the creepy clown on that show. I don't know if you ever watched it.
Just gotta love a show with a creepy clown.
And Maura Tierney, who is Abby Lockhart from ER, of course. And this is it's similar in tone. I don't know if you saw Coda, the movie about the deaf family who it was, I think it won Best Picture, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years ago. But great film. They're a fisherman family, and they're all deaf except for the daughter, who has to translate them. Coda, it's great. This is Diggers, and Paul Rudd's family is very similar. So they are also fishermen. This takes place in Long Island, or Long Island, as it's pronounced.
You gotta add the accent. It's Long Island.
Exactly. In the 70s, and it's about sort of the changing of American society and the difficulties of being a working class family, especially among fishermen. Right. And just all the things that they're up against. And so it's Paul Rudd's family, and they're trying to cling to their existence, and yet everything around them is trying to rip their lives away from them and force them to head in a different direction that they're just not comfortable doing. So the performances are great. It's really, I was really surprised when I watched it that this was not a bigger film, because the portrayals are beautiful, and I just love simple movies about people and characters, and this one really hit the mark for me.
And a real solid storyline, giving you the quality and the depth to help you really understand where the writer and the producer is coming from. And it's like a relatable piece, Sometimes we relate to it so much more when entertainment reflects life, and I love it.
Absolutely.
And I know that you're giving us a great variety of that. So Redbox, Crackle, we're all in, but you can't forget the feel good. You got more feel good with Chicken Soup for the Soul.
I do. Now, last time you and I talked, you got all excited about classic TV. And yes, I am right there with you, because I love the old stuff. It's funny, like a lot of the shows when I was a kid watching them, Brady Bunch and all of those, I didn't realize they were old shows when I was watching them. I thought Yeah, I thought they were like, just they were on TV, but they were already in syndication by the time I got a hold of them. But we have a ton. We've talked about before how amazing our programming team is, and they just scour the media landscape looking for all of these classic TV shows, some of them that have been forgotten. Did you know that there was a spinoff to Sanford and Son? I did not know there was a spinoff.
No, really?
Yeah, Grady had his own show.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
And Grady was a gem on that show. I'm talking about that was a show that everybody could carry their own storyline. If you named a character, they could definitely roll out with their own character, have the show revolve around them. So I can only imagine what his show would be like.
Yeah, it was great. So we've got a ton of classic TV on Crackle. So if that's your jam, you definitely want to check that out. But one of my absolute favorites is The Partridge Family.
Yes.
I love that show. I'm going to admit I had a bit of a crush on Shirley Jones when I was a kid.
That explains it.
Yep, absolutely. But I mean, the thing was star-studded. David Cassidy. I mean, his career just exploded on that show, and apparently he left the show because of exhaustion. He said everywhere they would show up to film, there were already 50 to 60 teenage girls waiting for him to get there. And by the end of the day, he was just completely wiped out, and eventually left the show because he just couldn't take the fame anymore. It's pretty crazy.
I guess to say lights, camera, less action.
Right, exactly. But and Susan Day, who went on to have a gigantic daytime soap career. Danny Bonaducci, who for good and for bad has been in the news. But say what you want about Danny Bonaducci, and plenty of people do. He was one of the most talented child actors ever. When you watch that show, his chemistry, especially with Dave Madden, who played Reuben Kincaid, the manager, it's other level. Like you think there's no way this kid was like 14. He had to keep it up
with the masters of it,
Oh my gosh, and
that says a lot about him, though, to say that he was that good at that young of an age, and not many people survive a childhood role. Not many. If they are typecasted for a child actor, that's pretty much their peak, and it's over.
Yep, we were just talking about that in the office the other day. How many careers of brilliant child actors were just cut tragically short. But I mean, homeboy still works. So he will show up. He will not stop for exhaustion. He wants 50 to 50,000 to show up every time he's there. I'm sure. And they had really fun guest stars on that show too. They had Jodie Foster.
I love her.
Fawcett, Mark
now listen,
Hamill.
I don't want you to judge me, okay? This is a judgment-free zone. We're family at this point.
Absolutely.
I love Jodie Foster because she is in my favorite movie of all times.
Which is?
Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, yes.
Don't judge me. Like, I will watch that show word for word. Please don't talk to me while it's on like I'm gonna miss something, and I'm back like I never left. Yeah. Anything Jodie Foster, she just bodies it.
It's an unbelievably great film for sure. Yep. So Partridge Family, you got to check it out. It's one of the classics, and we've got a ton of episodes on there. And then you were all excited about the cement pond the other day from Beverly Hillbillies. And we have Beverly Hillbillies. I mean, I was talking to my son, who is a film student in high school, and I was talking to him. He was like, Beverly Hillbillies, that's such an old show. And I was like, okay, listen, when that show premiered, it went to #1 in 3 weeks. And that is a feat that has never happened again.
Really?
In film and TV history. That is the first and only time a show has gone to #1 in under 3 weeks. And
that is wild.
Yeah.
And I mean, and to say that we can sit here and watch the classics on a rerun today, and that show had to have been decades ago,
Oh, yeah.
It has not lost its comedy. It has not lost the artistry. And even now, if you were to see it, every time you see a swimming pool, you say the cement pond. It just, they were genius. Next level.
They really were. Irene Ryan as Granny. I mean, she was unbelievable. And fun side note, when I was in college, I was nominated for a National Irene Ryan Award for my performance in Midsummer Night's Dream. So she was like a huge Broadway actress, and there's an award for college acting called the Irene Ryan Award, and obviously named after her. But she's a genius. Like, this was one of a million things that her and Buddy Ebsen was unbelievable. And it's interesting, when they offered the role to Buddy Ebsen, the part of Jed Clampett was actually a moron. And Buddy Ebsen said, "I will not play this man stupid." And he said, "If you allow rewrites so that he can be an intelligent person from the country, I will 100% play this role, but I'm not going to play him stupid." So they actually brought Max Baer in as Jethro so they could still have a dumb character.
And did they ever? Because Jethro played that role, Paul.
He did. He crushed it. And of course, Donna Douglas as Ellie Mae.
Yeah, that's Louisiana girl. She was here with us.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the one.
And she became a national treasure. And it's just a great show.
It's only because she brought that Southern charm to you.
That's it. Absolutely.
I love it. It's a collection that we cannot afford to miss. And Chicken Soup for the Soul, always breaking us off with the classics. Of course, we have Crackle and Redbox, but we have the magic when it comes to the binge list, because I got Chris Woolsey. Now, being that you were nominated for that award, I think on the next trip, you have to at least give us a line. I mean, that took some hard work and dedication to reach that peak. You know what I mean?
I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link to some of my previous TV work.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love you. And I know you have more work to do. So I'm going to let you chase the sun, or let the sun chase you. But either way, get after it. And we'll be back same time next week.
Can't wait.
Same here. I love you. And there's absolutely nothing you can do about it.
Thank you so much.